to witness the parables of the eldritch and divine. Unholy creative director of the sect of Massive Monster, Julian Wilton.
Oh yeah. Look at this little dance I'm doing. hello, welcome. How are we all doing? Welcome PAX Friday, woohoo, big day, all right. Yeah, that's the energy I like, that's what I like. Whoa, this is pretty crazy, wow, thank you all for coming. This is pretty crazy, a lot of people. Hopefully you're in the right room. Sweet, well yeah, let's get into it. I just want to start off by, doing a little special welcome for all my cult members that came here today. Followers of the Lamb, they came near and far. Can I get a show of hands? How many cult members do we have out here in the audience? Ooh, okay. All right, we've got a few. That's great. So I got a little task for you guys. Anyone that didn't put their hand up, you need to recruit them after this. And we're going to pick one of them to sacrifice. If you told me all these years ago I'd be up here bossing people around, I probably wouldn't believe you. I was actually at one of the first PAX they threw here in Australia when I was over at the Melbourne Showgrounds. It was a weird vibe. This is much better. It was like all raining and stuff. But I actually ended up volunteering. My dream was always to show my game at PAX, so I thought maybe I could learn how to get in and get my game there. But I couldn't really afford a ticket, so I ended up volunteering. They kind of put me on wristband duty, and let me tell you, those bad boys are hard to slap on. So, props to any, the enforcers out here, helping this all happen. And yeah, I'm showing off my game here in this bloody crazy booth. Hopefully everyone got to see it. It's pretty crazy, big booth. So yeah, I hear you. Who the heck's this guy up here yelling at me? I'm Julian Wilton, creative director at Massive Monster. I made the game Cult of the Lamb with a couple of my friends, a couple of people in the audience here. And yeah, I've been kind of making games since I was about 15 years old now. I'm kind of all self-taught. I started out with doing a bit of art, animation, design, all that cool stuff. Now, no 2 days are kind of the same. I'm throwing a rave tonight, designing all the crazy merch that we have up there. We're marrying 2 people on Sunday. It's pretty crazy. Should probably get back to actually making a game. But yeah, back in high school, I was never that good at it, never really kind of caught my attention. I feel like that kind of system wasn't really for me. I was just too busy kind of doing whatever I wanted and kind of doing things that interested me. And one moment that happened to be games. So yeah, I kind of kept making games through high school. I would go into university and study a Bachelor of Design in Visual Communication, which is just kind of like graphic design, just fancy. Because I kind of thought games might not be a viable career option. But I would go on to kind of release my first console desktop game before I was even out of university. And yeah, that's kind of where it would lead me to today. I'd also like to remind you, I am a game developer. I spend all day in front of a computer. I'm not a public speaker, so please be patient as I, scramble for my little notes down here. I'm also running on very little sleep due to said booth. But yeah, a little bit about me outside games. I like to do a little painting. I'm doing a building project in Fitzroy where I'm trying to create a co-working space for game developers. That's pretty crazy. And I also like to DJ under DJ Macintosh, which is the name of my cat there. Look at him. He's a little cutie. Some fun facts about me. I've never had a job. I also suck at games, which is kind of weird. But if you play Cult of the Lamb, the medium mode in it is also named internally Julian mode. Where the criteria is I had to kind of be able to get through it. I still haven't beaten the final boss. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. And I also have aphantasia. What's that? You all ask. What? I hear you. Well, let's do a little exercise to see if you have it. All right. So I want you all to close your eyes. Okay. Just listen to my voice and close your eyes. Okay. Get relaxed. Yep. Everyone closed. Good. All right. You're in the middle of a circle. All right. And when you look around the circle, there's an animal that's about to be sacrificed in your honor, okay? It's smiling at you. Give him a little wave, there he is. Okay, now open your eyes. All right, I want you to think about, what was the circle made of? What was the animal about to be sacrificed? Were you alone? Was it day or night, Have a think about that. Anyone got anything? What animal? Anyone got an animal? Crocodile, hell yeah. Well, I would have seen absolutely nothing. Complete empty darkness looming over me. Blah. It's just, yeah, it's not good in there. So if you saw nothing too, you have aphantasia. Sorry to break it to you. Yet I drew the little lamb we all know and love. So despite being able to visualize anything, I've somehow managed to become a award-winning creative director. Even though I gave myself the role, I'll take it. And yeah, in this talk, I'll kind of be talking about just the highs and lows of like game development, and kind of touching on some like building blocks that kind of helped me get to where I am today. So those are like the art of the hustle, kind of getting creative to get ahead, the power of passion and collabs, how you can kind of work with other people to kind of leverage success, and failing forward, kind of learning from your mistakes. My first hot tip: fake it till you make it. What is a creative director? I hear you. So I kind of see it as like you're kind of steering a ship, right? You have a lot of people that you need to actually get the ship running and get it moving. But I'm kind of out in the helm, I'm looking out, and I'm basically trying to, avoid rocks and kind of find treasure. In Cult of the Lamb, we had these things called pillars, and a lot of the direction will kind of focus on these things to kind of make sure that we're kind of, going the right way along the project. So whenever we have a game design problem, we can kind of just refer back to these and be like, is this about the cult? Is it about power? And how can we double down on those? There's also a lot of creative problem solving. If you play Cult of the Lamb, you might know that you might hate cleaning up poop. We had this. We launched the game, everyone's like, I hate cleaning up poop. It sucks. So, we thought, we could fix it and just like, cut the poop, reduce the amount of poop that happens. Or we could double down on it and actually just make it more rewarding when you clean up poop. So, we'll make a little bar that fills up, and when it fills up, you get like a new brush. It actually doesn't do anything, but like kind of rewards you and kind of gives you feedback for your action. It's kind of like shampoo. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you get shampoo washing your hair, it only foams up, so it's working. So it's all about kind of giving you feedback. So yeah, let's get into it. And rewind a bit to when I first got into games. Like many of you, my love for games started on an early console. I had a Sega Genesis. I was jealous of all my friends with a Nintendo. But Sonic went pretty hard. This Columns game popped off. I was trying to find it the other day. The sound effects, ooh, that's so good. Like, honestly, go listen to it. And yeah, I kind of have fond memories of Sega because when I was young, my granddad, he'd always go to the pub and somehow just manage coming back with just a bag full of Sega games that he bought off some guy for $5. Most of them were crap, but he knew we loved them, and it kind of, created some strong memories for me. So I'll kind of move on from Sega to like computer games. I found some like online games. Can I get a show of hands? Anyone know some of these bad boys? Yeah, good. If you didn't put your hand up, you missed out. They're pretty good. But there would be one game that would take all of my time and all of my youth, and that was Runescape, a high fantasy open world MMORPG. I loved it. It was my first big gaming obsession. But there was one problem. I needed a membership. It was like something like $12. As a little kid, I didn't have that much money. I couldn't ask my parents as I was already spending way too much time on it. So I thought, maybe I'll come up with a little scheme to make a bit of money so I could get a RuneScape membership. And what I thought I'd do is I would compete with Canteen. They couldn't sell fizzy drinks, but I could. So I'd just buy a case of Coke, $12 or whatever, sell them at school, a little clean dollar profit per can. After a few weeks, I had more than enough for the membership and had perfected the art of selling. And I finally got my RuneScape membership. It was great. Until I realized that RuneScape is like the grindiest shit ever. It's super hard to make money. How was I ever going to buy a girlfriend? How was 12-year-old me ever going to get this party hat I really wanted? That it cost about $2,000 in real life money. But I wanted it. So I was like, maybe there's a little hustling I can do here to kind of earn some money in game, like the Coke cans. I started doing a bunch of weird things, like I was like botting, manipulating prices of items. But I kind of need something bigger, and I actually turned to scamming. So like many teenagers are, I was a little shit. I thought I'd scam my way to the top. And RuneScape, had a ton of them. They just dropped a new one that I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. It was just called like Dice Game. You could roll a dice, and if it got like 54 to 100, you'd double someone's money basically. Simple as that. But if someone kind of does a really big bet and you lose on it, you just get the hell out of there. And yeah, it was pretty good. I spent months doing it, and I got pretty good at it. I was running a mostly legit gambling house. A little hot tip, house always wins. So it actually worked. I got my party hat. I was the king of RuneScape. I put a lot of hard work and passion to get to the goal, and I achieved it. It taught me to be resourceful with what I had, and kind of starting from the bottom and working my way up. But it's never that easy. Hold up a second. I've been permanently banned. It wasn't even for scamming. It was for botting. No warning, JGEX, if anyone in JGEX is here, But I probably should have stopped botting in hindsight. But yeah, it was like the worst day of my life. And also, sorry if I scammed you. I blame my youth, going through a phase maybe. But what's the point of that story? Well, I feel like it's kind of like you don't need resources to be resourceful. I actually learned a lot about business and marketing from RuneScape, which is really weird. And creativity isn't about kind of what you have, it's about how you use it and what's like around you. Sometimes the best ideas is kind of from the constraints you face. You kind of need to, sometimes you create your own opportunities and take advantage of them. So I'm going to get into kind of when I first started making games. And this chapter's called Fuck PayPal and the Death of Flash. So, what am I going to do with my life now? Oh, my RuneScape membership, it's gone. I'm out. I'm like, maybe there's some other MMORPGs. I was playing a bunch, couldn't really find any cool ones. But I did find this one, could not for the life of me find it, what it was called. It was some pixel art thing. But I noticed when you download it, you could see all the images of the game. And I thought, whoa, this is crazy. What if I just like open one of these images and like change the color or something? And yeah, it would update it in game. And I'd be like, what the hell? Games are made by people. What the hell? This is crazy. It's not just some magic. It seems very obvious now, but as a kid, you kind of get lost in these worlds, and you never really take a second to think about it. I think this is where my passion for games was born. I thought maybe I can make a game. It's really not that hard. Anyone can do it. I remember I downloaded Visual Studio C++, try to make something. There was also like Game Maker at the time. They were very gross. Like they just like look at that. Ew. You don't want to make a game in that. But then I found Flash, and it was love at first sight. It was an amazing piece of software where you could directly draw and animate into it and kind of attach code to create games. Still rival today. They ruined it. So bloody Adobe, I tell ya. And making games, it all started making sense to me. So I'm going to start my first company, super awesome cookie company, with my first game, Awesome Evader. Everything was like awesome or cookie related. I don't know why. I launched it across Newgrounds and Congregate, and it would get hundreds of views, a bunch of comments, and even earned me some ad revenue. Even though the game sucked big time, people saw it, and better yet, I earned a little bit of money on it. Again, it only fueled my passion. I also had Numb by Linkin Park as a soundtrack. Like, I don't know who I was as a teenager. It was kind of weird. But yeah, I was going to make a bunch of crap. I kept at it. I was never that good at art, but I kind of mastered the art of Control-Z a bit and was getting better every day, which kind of kept motivating me to do it. I got to one point where I thought, maybe I could, maybe I'm good enough to work with someone else on a game. I could just focus on what I like doing, which was like art and animation. I would look on forums where there'd be artists looking for programmers, programmers looking for artists, things like Newgrounds, Flash Game License, Congregate. There would be a lot of idea guys, so you had to go through the shit a bit, but there were some good people too. I would go on to find someone by the name of Sharsoft and make my first big game, which was Angry Bees. I'm sure you all remember it. No. It was a game about shooting bees so they don't steal your money. It was kind of based on another popular Flash game, but we thought, maybe if we just reskin it, put our own little spin on it, it might go well as well. I was about 17 at the time, so it was, it was a pretty big deal. I'm like, this is cool. We put on, I've mentioned it before, this website called Flash Game License. It's basically like an eBay for selling games. My passion was making games, but also what fueled me a lot was making money. I was corrupted by the powers of capitalism, you could say. And yeah, once the game was done, we put it up there for the privilege of it getting sponsored. So they basically put a little logo, splash screen at the front, a little more game spot in. Like, it was a pretty good deal. And we actually managed to get into a little bit of a bidding war between a few sponsors. Like, it was pretty crazy. I was just waking up every day with new bids. And actually ended up with a deal for $18,000 US. Being 17 at the time, it just blew my mind. I'm like, that's a lot of Coke cans. But with success, nothing is ever that easy. Turns out you need to be 18 to use PayPal. Makes sense, yeah. So I was kind of sent the funds, but they locked my account, and they were kind of really weird where they're like, we're not just going to send you the money, close your account down. They're like, we're going to hold on to this until you turn 18, which was probably about 9 months. So luckily the other program I was working with in Flash Game License, they were kind of nice enough to wait for that money, but it was a bit annoying, so, fuck them. But yeah, while that was kind of going on, I was going on to do another collaboration with someone by the name of J. Armstrong Games, which is, he's here somewhere. And we made this game called Super Adventure Pals, a platformer game. It was about kind of a small boy and his giraffe and pet rock and the crazy adventures they go on. We actually made the game over email somehow. I don't know how we did that. And it turned out quite good. It's the first time I really felt like I made a good game, which would make me want to double down on making even more games. While I was doing other random things, Jay would go on to meet Jim. They met at a Flash developer conference when Jim introduced himself with a beer and said, "This is for Adventure Pals." They would go on to make some games together as well. But there was one problem. The industry was dying, RIP. Steve Jobs had killed Flash. Thanks, Steve. Mobile was the next big thing, and there were fewer and fewer people playing web games, so the money was soaking up. So we knew it was probably time to jump ship. But that's when Massive Monster was born. We weren't sure what to do next, but our dream was to always make a console desktop game. We're inspired by people like that made Castle Crashers and Super Meat Boy from those Newgrounds forums where we found each other. We go on to kind of work on some work-for-hire games, like HTML, web, and stuff. Jay and Jim actually worked on a math game, I don't know. But we weren't sure what to do next and how we were going to get there. So I put my little hustling hat on, and I also knew the Flash portals were dying. So we asked Armor Games, one of our old sponsors, to fund a kind of Steam version of the Adventure Pals, a predecessor to Super Adventure Pals. And managed to get a deal somehow. I would also go on to convince them to let us do a full console desktop release. So it was pretty cool. And that's kind of, the power of passion and collabs, Through my Flash era, I used my passion to fuel my hustle. Even though PayPal was trying to stop me and not all of my games would do well, it was enough to keep me going. I love making games. So I kind of created opportunities by what we had, our connection to Flash portals, to make a desktop console game. Along with finding amazing collaborators that would make making games a lot easier. So here we are, these little J's. We had myself, Jay, and Jim. We had 2 artists and 1 coder. It was a very small team, so in a small team like this, you end up just doing everything, but you kind of learn so much along the way as well. I actually ended up kind of traveling the world, showing our games off, going everywhere, Tokyo, US, all these, Germany, all these crazy places. Basically trying to just create opportunities for ourselves and kind of trying to get ahead and making sure we are successful. It didn't pan out super well, but we kind of got some connections for it. But it was pretty cool. This is Massive Monster. We're established in 2014, so we just turned 10. We just had a little birthday celebration on Monday, which was pretty fun. Oh, thank you. And we kind of, I put these together, I don't know, a couple years ago, and just what is Massive Monster? What type of games do we actually want to make? Why are we making games? I kind of broke it down into personality and play. Personality is we like to embrace ourselves when we make games. We put our own weird little interests and humor into the games. I think by embracing your own personality, you can kind of helps you make unique things because there's only one of you. And it kind of helps you stand out rather than kind of trying to copy other people. We actually literally put ourselves in the Adventure Pals, selling a rip-off of our own game. But that's that's a bit meta. And also on the play side, it's about basically making games anyone can play. We want to make pressing a button feel as good as possible. It's all about kind of giving that feedback to the player, helping them when they're having trouble, and kind of rewarding them for exploring our game systems. So we ended up making 3 desktop console games. So you got, The Adventure Pals, Never Give Up, and Cult of the Lamb. I made this weird game unicycle draft by myself, which is kind of fun. Little solo project. Can't download it anymore because Apple charges $100 a year, which is too much for me apparently. And I also worked on this game Boomerang Fu doing art direction, which is probably one of the best local multiplayer games. So download it. It's usually 90% on Switch or whatever, 9% off. So give it a bloody go. But anyway, we've probably made over 50 Flash games through just between the three of us. One of the highlights is probably Jim's finest work. This is called Sperminator. Your little condom shooting sperm. But it's great. Teaching sexual health is important. So good one, Jim. And we're actually situated all around the world. So I'm in Melbourne, Jim's in the UK, and Jay's in Singapore. So somehow we've always just worked remotely, and it's worked. The office never shuts at Massive Monster, which is kind of fun. And they're here today, which is really sweet. So some fun facts about Massive Monster. We actually nearly made a Steven Universe game. That was kind of fun. But then they were like, you're not going to make any money out of this. And we're like, why would we do it then? Like, what's the point of doing it? Our first office was in a castle. Very cool. And also, we have no idea what we're doing. So none of us have actually worked in a games company before, so we're not sure what you're meant to do, but somehow it's worked. So now I'm going to tell you about the game that nearly destroyed Massive Monster. It's kind of about embracing failure a little bit. So I'm, of course, talking about Never Give Up. It's a hardcore platformer that was trying to get you to give up playing it. Genius. And it would kind of make fun of you if you did. It was based on a Flash game from 2013 that kind of went viral and popped off a bit. And it was actually a good game. It got 78 on Metacritic, it's 86% on Steam. But kind of the genre had been done, we weren't really adding anything that new to the genre. And Super Meat Boy is probably better. But we also didn't consider marketing. But financially, you ask, it was a total disaster. We made 30 grand, but the recoup was over $200,000 USD. So we're never going to see a penny of that until we hit recoup, which we won't. So don't bother buying it. It was pretty devastating. Maybe we're not good enough to make games. Maybe we suck. The last 4 years was for nothing. How are we going to pay off this credit card debt? It was hard to not lose motivation in those low moments. But you need to remember, sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something. Thanks to Jake the dog. Good guy. Failure forced us to get our shit together. If we want to make games, we need to make great games. I listened to every audiobook I could on game development, business, marketing. You can kind of choose failure to be the start of your journey or the end of it. So it's important to never give up, as failure can lead to your success, as long as you try to learn from it. Without these learnings from all these things, we probably wouldn't have made Cult of Lamb. Was a strange and experimental idea, quickly became the thing that changed everything for us. I'm just kind of starting Cult with my friends, talking about the development of Cult of Lamb. So how did it begin? Well, I'd love to say that we're smart enough to just come up with this idea of this game, but as classic game development goes, there was a lot of kind of turns along the way. Needless to say, none of them worked. So it all started when Jay made this cool little prototype. So you're kind of you're this little dude, you had some little colony people, and then you would go down and do some combat and stuff. And we thought it was pretty cool. We knew if we wanted to stop doing work for hire, this prototype was our one big shot. So it was kind of a mix of kind of two genres. We thought if we just mush two really popular genres together, surely it'd be a hit. It worked out somehow. But we're inspired by things like Stardew Valley, when you go to the caves if the combat didn't suck. And things like RimWorld. Jay has a master's in geopolitics for some reason, so he has a passion for creating dynamic stories. Inspired by things like Moonlighter, where you're running a shop and then you go to a dungeon. Kind of just having that real tasty gameplay loop that just kind of keeps pushing you to the next side of the game. But we had a problem, what's the actual game? We had a gameplay loop, we had mechanics, but what's the story? What's the player fantasy? Why is it exciting? More importantly, how are we going to sell this to people? For our first idea, it was about a god who was kicked out of a godland because he didn't have enough followers. You also need to kind of recruit new ones and eat them to fuel your power, all while sitting on the back of a flying whale. So I've got a little pitch of that here that I can show. Here we go. I think there is some audio that's a bit hectic, but that's okay if not. Oh, yeah, there we go. I didn't pick the music. Well, there you go. Lost Rituals. Woohoo! Whoa, yeah. Oh, that was nice. Sit down for a second. This is I don't know. I feel like there's a lot going on. We basically took this to GDC and we started talking to publishers about it, and we kind of instantly knew as soon as we started talking about it, it was like too complicated. You just their eyes roll over, and you're like, yeah, you just know. I feel like the inherent game could have been quite fun still. I still like some of the ideas, but it was probably a bit hard to communicate, which means it would be hard to market, basically. But, show of hands, who wants to play this game? Who would play that? Okay, oh, we got a few people. All right, get on it, guys. Get to work. But, it was time to get back to the drawing board. We knew we needed to make something just that was nice and easy to communicate. So our next idea was kind of about running a hell. We really liked this idea, and we kind of started to develop it more and more, and we're kind of making some fun things. But then, one of the big things about running a hell is you need to torture people. So we kind of got to that area and started drawing all these things, and we're like, this does not feel right. This isn't very Massive Monster. So we're kind of throwing away ideas all the time. We're throwing away monthly. We try something out and just nope, this sucks. It was kind of hard to keep that passion early on. We just kept throwing ideas away. And it was a lesson that we learned from never give up. We needed to make sure that this was good. And then, one day I kind of had a little idea. What if you ran a cult? One of my passions outside of games is also horror movies. I love them. And some of the ones I like the most are about the occult and cults. So I thought, why not just bring that over to a game? Using my personality and passion for horror movies, it would help us make kind of a unique game. But there was kind of one problem with that idea. The prototype didn't really have anything to do with running a cult. But we're not going to let something silly like that stop us. As I said before, fake it till you make it. So we got this hustling. We got a little bit of money from Vic Screen, and we put together a pitch and a demo showing off the gameplay loop and a simple mechanic around kind of recruiting a follower and sacrificing them. And got a cool little animation from Half Giant as well. But really, we had no gameplay around running a cult. We kind of sent it out to publishers, seeing what they'd say to try and get a bit of money to actually make it and get a publishing deal. Our dream was actually always Devolver Digital. They had the best reputation, making some cool shit. So this is our new pitch we put together. And yeah, this has what do you do? Yeah. Yeah, so, ended up pretty cool. I don't know, kind of You might recognize some familiar stuff in there. I'm really glad we ended up actually getting that goat character in our last update, and a bunch of other fun things. And yeah, we had that pitch, and it worked. It turns out publishers do answer their email if you have a good product. We were hot property. We had quite a few publishers interested. We had our dream on Devolver, though, and we actually didn't know anyone there. But, a little hustling ways, Jay managed to actually just guess someone's email there. Little hot tip, most people's email are just name@company.com. Just do not email me, though. This worked. We got a deal with Devolver Digital. They were instantly on board and said we needed more money to make the project, where other publishers were trying to get us to make it for less, and wanting to do due diligence, which we knew probably wouldn't go too well. But yeah, it gave us a lot of confidence. We thought this is our one big shot. But now we need to actually make the game as well. We basically promised a lot to Devolver Digital, and it was vital we kind of delivered on that, or they could still cancel the project if they wanted to, and we would lose that big shot. It wasn't an easy feat. Like, we needed to make this game about running a cult, and kind of mushing this concept to this weird gameplay loop we had. To kind of pull this off, there's so many mechanics around actually running a cult. You've got like charismatic leader, followers, indoctrination, exploitation, worshippers, rituals, sermons, loyalty, faith, beliefs and values, brainwashing, demons, missionaries, doctrines, hierarchy, dissenters, us versus them. Yeah, I could go on. If we couldn't get all these in, the game, it might fail, it might not be good. We would fail the player's fantasy of wanting to run a cult, and our own little quality standards for what this game was. So now we were throwing ideas away weekly. It was like trying to push a square through a circle hole. I don't know if you've seen those videos. The game kept fighting with us. The gameplay loop really wasn't coming together, and the cult mechanics weren't working either. We were worried, like, was this going to be another Never Give Up? We're exhausted, and the pressure of having a deal with Devolver also did kind of weigh on us. But sometimes you just need to trust the process. TTP, as I say. When you're making something, often it sucks until it doesn't. When I'm painting, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm usually just mushing things around. I can't visualize it. But then it'll just all start making sense at one point. We trusted our process and made sure to scrap anything that wasn't good enough. We pushed through using our passion and our hustle and focusing on the goal rather than on the field. This kind of led us to our announcement. We announced at Gamescom opening live. Jeff, he's like, "Oh, here's Cult of Lamb." That's kind of cool. And we were shocked by the response. I think it was around the time of like Animal Crossing, so everyone was like, "Yes, a cult Animal Crossing. That's what I want." It was the kind of confidence we needed to really drive home the game. We were still pretty worried at this point, though. Like, we announced the game, but it actually still wasn't working very well. So we're like, well, hopefully this will be good. People are like lined up ready to buy it. And we're also kind of making this game during lockdown, so we didn't get many opportunities to kind of test it outside of our friends and families. So there was a lot of like questions around, is this game even fun? Like, is it fun yet? We knew it had like serious problems for a long time. But we actually felt maybe about 9 months before launch, it kind of got into a good place. So we thought, let's go send it off to a little bit of feedback testing that developers do. And the results were better than we ever could have imagined. We received one of the highest ratings a Devolver game had ever seen. It was pretty crazy. Building Cult of Lamb was a journey of trial and error, failure and iteration. Here's the takeaway. Great ideas don't arrive fully cooked. You've got to keep stirring the pot, tweaking and reshuffling until it all kind of comes together. Creativity is about kind of staying curious and flexible, and ideas are worth nothing in game development. That's why there's no ideas guy role. That was kind of working on the game. Now we're after Lamb. Churches, bugs, and burnout. Yeah, look at this little guy. So good. This is the one done by one of our artists, Angus. He's great. So how'd the game go? Well, you're all here for a start. That's pretty good. It went good. We actually hit our recoup within the first week, which blew our minds. We were outselling Spider-Man at one point. Like, take that, Spider-Man. And we took over the front page of Steam. Look at that. That's crazy. It also reviewed really well. It was an amazing feeling. We felt like we finally made it. My mum finally understood what I was doing. She saw me on the project. That was pretty crazy. So when did you decide this was a computer game? Definitely not a weird question to ask on live TV. So thanks, Waleed. And there was also like a lot of concerned Christians, but they say all press is good press. This lady was quite good, actually.
I've been up all day and all night trying to figure out how to stop this, but I failed. And in a matter of hours, this game, if you want to call it that, called The Cult of Mary Had a Little Lamb,
It's a good name.
is actually going to be available to the public. And in this brainwashing piece that they have masquerading as a children's game involves animal sacrifices and demon summoning. Do you have any idea how close demon summoning is to actual demon summoning? So I don't know what else to do. Just smash subscribe and tell 10 friends and let me know what you think about Mary Had a Little Cult.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish we had thought of like just hiring someone to do that, because we could never make that shit up. That was so good. But we did actually have some issues with launch. It wasn't all rainbows and sunshine. There's no way you can ever do a test case for 1 million people playing your game. So there was bugs, and there was a lot of them. We also had quite bad performance on console and specifically Switch. So sorry about that. We felt like we'd let down a large part of our audience. So celebration time was over. It was time to get to work. Luckily, we had a fantastic team to help us, and now we have the resources to kind of grow it further, from the community side on the socials to kind of texting the fixes to actually fixing the things. We spent the next couple of months frantically patching and fixing as many bugs as possible. Harrison still has our record for making as many bugs as he has fixed, which is good. Once we were done with the bugs, we knew there was always issues with the game, and now we could kind of see the feedback from players as well. So we wanted to improve the game as much as we could, and this kind of led us to doing 2 years of free updates. It's pretty crazy. 3 major content updates. Stop. Thank you. So we did Sins, which is all about kind of adding a bit more depth to the base. Relics, which was more about dungeon depth. And our latest update on Holy Alliance, which added local co-op. We also did little paid cosmetics for anyone that kind of wanted to support us as we kind of continued to do the free updates. So thank you to anyone who bought those. We also got 60 FPS on Switch. It literally took us 2 years and countless resources, but we did it. I'm sure you all care. But it's funny, when I first dreamed of making a hit indie game, I thought, great, I'll just make a bunch of money, I can chill out, I can take as long as I want on the next game. But something is wrong with me, where the bar for success constantly moves, and I will never be fulfilled. But perhaps the constant hustling was not entirely helpful. But we also would be stupid to not take advantage of having such a successful IP to foster and grow. We still weren't any Hollow Knight. We still had to keep talking about the game. And this led us to some pretty amazing things, like a collab with our favorite game, Don't Starve. But all these opportunities, they can kind of be overwhelming, and they do take a toll on you. Burnout is very real and very easy to get into in these positions. The last 2 years have been the busiest of my life. You end up having 2 naps a day, and it's difficult to get anything done. It's a struggle to be creative. I'm still learning to manage my time and to avoid burnout. But you need to remember, games are made just by people, not magic. If your favorite game has some bugs, be nice to the developer. They may take some time to fix it, but that's okay, because we're all just little people. We're all just making up as we go. Anyway, because I got an hour to kill as well, here's top 10 cool things that happened after launching the game. We had amazing fan animations. I don't know if you guys saw this one by Mashed. This was the main animator on this. There he is. We just hired him because he was so good. We're like, come make shorts for us. So he's been doing that ever since, which has been great. We also have the best soundtrack ever. Narayan Johnson, Rib Boy. He was actually there with us from the start of the game. So he kept making tracks for all these other weird games along the way. So it was nice that he kept with us. And delivered a serious, awesome soundtrack. We also did a Pilgrim comic recently. We asked Carlos, one of our main artists, if he could do anything, what would it be? And he wanted to make a comic. So we did it. And that's how we like to work at Massive Monster. It was written by Jojo Joe, our narrative lead as well. And yeah, 2 of our Massive Monster superstars. We also did a digital comic, which was super fun, put a lot of love into that. And some exciting news, we got copies at PAX. We've flown over Carl's Dalmain from Spain. So even though he hates flying, he really didn't want to come. So 4 p.m. today, be there or be square. Tell your friends. We've also had such an amazing community from cosplay as well. I don't know, is there any lambs? Any lambs in the audience? Anyone cool? Yeah, we got a few. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right, props to you guys. You guys rock. And we also have such an amazing fan art community. We actually commissioned 4 pieces for our last update, just because there's so many amazing artists out there. We've also had some silly tweeting by Josie, who's to blame. If you ever saw anything on the Twitter, that's her, who I randomly hired at a New Year's party, at her own New Year's party, and then has turned out to to absolutely smash it. And I bought a home/church. It's actually an old church. Pretty crazy. It just made sense. It's gotta start the in real life cult. And amazing Discord and community. 132,000 members. I think it gives us the record. I think we must be the biggest cult in the world by now. We threw this rave last year. That was pretty crazy. If you were there, you were there. If you weren't, missed out. And also some amazing Twitch integration. I don't know if anyone's seen any of the Twitch integration, but that was Harrison's handiwork with another developer called Thomas by Streaming Toolsmith. Ended up really cool. But this is just to say, none of this would actually be possible without all these little cuties up here. Although there's a few random other people in that, but from launch, we've grown such an amazing team to support us, which is truly one of my proudest achievements. If we've got any massive monsters here today, can I embarrass you for a second? Stand up, do a little, and Devolver as well. They're all up here. Yeah. Give them a round of applause, guys. Give them a round of applause. Yeah, get them. Suckers. Yeah. That's what you get for not coming up here. But it's not just our team. We've had so much help along the way. From Half Giant, who did all our amazing trailers, they're actually based in Adelaide, which is really weird, to Devolver Digital, for not cancelling the project, plus so many other people. From starting a game with basically 4 people to looking at our credit list now, it's crazy. But the true MVP, it's got to be the fans, of course. Without you, none of this would be possible at all. Without your feedback and love for the game and the amazing kind of community you guys have created. I'm going to give a round of applause to you guys. Good work. Good. You bloody got it. Keep it up. Keep it up, guys. Keep giving us money. It's great. But what's the point of all this? I think it's just a testament to, teamwork makes the dream work. If you have a big dream, find someone else with that passion as well. Now before I get, 20 questions at the booth, what are you working on next? When's, Slam 2? What's going on? Here's the big inside scoop. We're working on, we've got Secret Fun Project. That's coming out actually at the end of this month, I think. If you don't like it, Jay and Jim are to blame for that one. There's a secret crossover that, it got cancelled, pause. I wonder why. I don't know what's been happening lately. We have a secret paid update, which we may have teased. And we have a secret new game we're working on. That's the inside scoop. With that, I'd like to close the talk by kind of saying, hustle hard, fail forward, and never stop learning. Creativity thrives on bold ideas and constraints, and real success comes from collaboration. Trust the process, and with passion and teamwork, you'll turn your crazy ideas into something awesome. That's it. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Woo, 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 woo. But also, what's that? I don't know if what's that? Do you guys hear that? I don't know. Oh shit! Who's that? Oh damn! Oh my God! It's the Lamb from Cults of the Lamb. Everybody, praise the Lamb! Praise the Lamb! Praise the Lamb! Oh, look at that little guy. Hey, all right, cool. Yep, all right, that'll do. All right, you can go now. This is my keynote. Get out. Oh, sorry. Oh. It's kind of sad, actually. Look at those eyes. What is wrong with the eyes on this thing? I don't know. Oh, bye. And I'd just like to close out as well by saying, come to our wedding. We're marrying two couples on Sunday, two crazy couples. So please, pop on by. And yeah, thank you everybody, and keep spreading the word, keep spreading the love. Thank you all so much. Yeah, and that's me. Thank you. Woo. Woo, 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 woo.